All the time, I'll get guys asking me questions about starting their own location-independent business. And in the conversation, it will come out, usually voluntarily, that the guy asking the question has no job and no income. So should you start your own location-independent business? Should you start any business if you literally have no job and no income? In this video, I will answer that question. On the surface, it kind of makes sense. I have no job, I have plenty of time, I might as well start a business. Should you do this? Is this a good idea to start a business when you have no job and no income? No, it is a terrible idea, and I will tell you why. Starting your own business is a little difficult. It's not difficult tactily. It is difficult emotionally, especially if you've never done it before. It requires time, and it requires focus, and it requires emotional energy. Sometimes these things are difficult to devote to a new project, any new project, even if your life is perfect. But if you have no job and no income, and you can't even pay your goddamn bills, this becomes almost impossible. Most, if not all, of your emotional energy and mental focus is focused on the stress of not having any income and not being able to pay your bills. Yes, this includes you guys who live at home with your parents or live with girlfriends or whatever, where you don't have to pay rent. Still, if you have no income, that means most likely you have financial problems, big ones that are on your mind all the time. And I relate to this personally because I used to be poor and I remember how painful it was. That's why today I'm not poor, because I don't ever want to go back to that pain. But I clearly remember how difficult it was for me back then to be regularly late on my basic bills. It was very, very, very stressful. And so in the middle of that stressful environment, you're going to introduce the new project of starting your own company. Not a good idea. Your odds of success are much, much, much lower because your emotional energy is being sucked up by the stress of not having the money you need to conduct your basic life. On top of that, you also have the self-esteem issues of feeling like a loser, especially if you're a man, where you have no income and you have no job, and now you feel like a loser because you have no money. This is very difficult emotionally for men and women too, when they're not even able to financially support themselves. It feels bad. And so you don't want to start a business in an environment where you're feeling bad all the time and stressed all the time. Now you might be thinking, well, wait a minute, Caleb. Yeah, I don't have a job, or these guys asking the question not having a job, but maybe they have a lot of money in savings, then it's okay. I will address those guys in a minute at the end of this video. Usually, the guys asking these kinds of questions are not guys who have $50,000 in a savings account somewhere. These are guys who have no money and no job and no income, and they're trying to start a business. Not a good idea. So if that's you, if you currently have little to no income or no job or maybe half a job, I will tell you exactly how to fix that problem. Before that, if you have any interest in the topics we discuss here at Sovereign CEO on how to set up your own location-independent business or move to a better country or at least set up an international backup plan and do all these things for very little money, you should subscribe to this channel, put a like on this video, leave a comment on this video, doesn't matter what you say, and ring the notification bell, and that way you'll be sure to get this content for free in the future. So you have no money or very little money, you have no income or very little income, and you want to start your own business. How do you handle that? Step one is get a job. Yes, get a job. Get your head above water. Now, I didn't say get the ideal job. I didn't say get the perfect job. And when I say job, I mean some sort of regular income. You could get a gig that is guaranteed income, like an Uber or Lyft driver or something like that. There's all kinds of things you can do, but get some regular income immediately, not next month if you work on something and maybe it'll work out. That's a business. I'm saying get a job or job-like income. Do I like having jobs? No. Do I think you should have a job long-term? No. I've done many videos and many articles about those men who rely on jobs. Even high-income men are screwed going forward as the Western world continues to collapse. I'm just talking about you. When you have no income and no money and you need to pay your bills, you got to start a business, you've got to get a job so at least you can start paying your bills. And by the way, I want you to avoid the problem I have seen throughout most of my life with chronically unemployed people, and that is that these poor unemployed people have this ego about what kind of jobs they'll take. This is a conversation or variation of this conversation I've had many times with many people I've known in real life and on the internet over the past 25 years. The person will say, I can't find a job. I've been looking for a job for 8 months or 2 years or 3 years or longer. And I will say something like, the McDonald's literally down the street is looking for jobs right now. And the person will say, I'm not working at McDonald's. Dumb fuck. If you have no money, get your ego out of the way and get money. You know what my first job was when I was a kid? My first job was doing this. Literally 8 hours a day doing this. Typing into a little keypad for 8 hours a day in a hot, sweaty room. That was my first job. You think I liked that job? You think I enjoyed it? No. But I'd rather do that back when I was 17, 18 years old than have no money. Stop being a dumbass and saying I'd rather have no income than low income to pay my bills. Don't get an ego about this. I don't know where this came from. This is a new thing in the last 20, 25 years, where all these unemployed people say, I would never work at Starbucks. I'd rather be poor and starving. What the hell? Get a job. I don't care how stupid it is, just enough to pay your bills. And that is step 2. Get enough regular income, just enough to pay your bills. That's all you need. You don't need to become a vice president or something. You don't need to be turned into a doctor. I'm just saying get some bullshit job so that you can pay your basic bills. So now the stress of paying your bills is gone. Now you can pay your bills. And now all that worry and emotional energy and self-esteem crap is out the window because that's covered and handled. Now you can start your own business. Number 3, make sure that regular income is stable and not something that might go away in a few years. I've seen a lot of people do this. They're unemployed. They need to get some income, so they get some kind of gig. They work some kind of odd job for a friend who owns a business or something, and that works well for a few months, and then suddenly things change, and the friend or the employer or whatever says, okay, we don't need you anymore, and they're screwed again, and they got to start all over again. So be sure to get a job or some sort of reliable long-term or mid-term, I should say, gig income that's going to stick around for a long time so you don't have to worry about this again. The last thing you want to do is to get some kind of gig income or temporary job where, okay, you're good now, and then you start your business, you make some traction with your business, and suddenly you lose the job or the gig, and now you're stressed all over again. You got to put your business on pause and run around like a maniac finding more income so you can pay your bills. You don't want to do that. So make sure that job or job-like income is stable and solid for the midterm future, not the next few weeks or months. Step 4, rearrange your lifestyle so that your costs are bare minimum. A lot of you guys are already good at this. So a lot of you have that covered. A lot of you guys aren't. A lot of you guys are dumbasses about this, and you live at a certain level financially, you lose your income, and you keep operating at that level. That's very, very stupid. A lot of middle-class people do this. When you have a shift in income, and I've been through this several times throughout my past, I've been through many recessions and ups and downs, you have to reduce your expenses when the income drops. Don't keep spending all the money you've been spending on whatever the fuck you're spending it on, even though you've lost your income. Reduce your expenses to get that monthly nut as low as you can, so that job or job-like income can cover that, and now you're good. Finally, to step 5, now start your own Alpha 2.0 location independent business. Now do it, because you've covered that basic step of covering your basic bills. It is very rare for you to start a business and immediately within a week or two start making money. It happens. I've seen it happen, but it's unusual. It's going to take you some time. That's why you need to get all this other infrastructure done, then start your own business. By the way, this is exactly what I tell these guys. Hey, I want to start my own business. I have no job right now. I have no income, but I want to start. I say, dude, get a job, get it stable, reduce your expenses. When that's done, now start working on your Alpha 2.0 business and get the average monthly income of that business up as high as you can so it replaces your job income or close to it so you can quit that job forever this time and now work on your business for the rest of my life. It has been over 25 years since I've had a job. It's awesome. It is awesome not having a job. But when I started my business, I had a job. I worked full time and I did my business at nights and on weekends. I did that for several years. It worked very well for me. I didn't have to stress about paying my bills. Now, let's shift gears really fast and address you guys who have no job and no income, but you have a bunch of money in savings. Caleb, I got a bunch of money in savings, so it doesn't matter. I can do this. Okay, that's fine, but the question is, how much money do you have in savings and what are your average monthly expenses? What you need to do is sit down and map out your average monthly expenses on a typical month. Okay, hopefully it's not very high. Keep your expenses low when you have no income. Get that number, take that number and divide it into the amount of money you have in savings, and you'll come up with a number of months, which is called your burn rate. That is the number of months in which you can survive with no income before you have to go back and get a job again. This number should be at least 3 months of expenses. More is way better, and I probably wouldn't do 3. 6 months is better. 12 months plus is even better. So yes, if you have 12 months of expenses or more, go ahead and start a business, okay, and get rolling. That's fine. But if you've got a month and a half of expenses or half a month of expenses, a lot of you guys do, or 3 months of expenses, I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't do it. I would go back and get a job, follow the 5 steps I just covered, then start your own business. If you want more information on how to start a location independent business with no experience, you can watch that video right there, and I'll see you in that video.